Hey guys, Kirk here from Kirk's Aquariums, bringing you guys yet another episode. Today I'm going to be in my fish room. We're going to go and do a fish room tour. So it has been about 6 months since I did my last fish room tour, and a lot has changed in the last 6 months. So it's been a little while since I've done a video. So this video is going to hopefully make up for that. It's a little bit of a long video. So sit back, grab a drink, and enjoy the video. Alright, so moving over to this tank. This is now my orange rice fish tank. So I lost a few of the originals. I've got 3 originals left, which are these ones here, these 2 plus that other one you just saw. But they have been pumping out some babies. So I grew out some, about 15 or 20 of the baby rice fish, hatched them out about a couple of months ago, and it wasn't enough to sell, so I wanted to make sure I had a decent little brood stock going. So I've kept them, grown them up, and they're sort of big enough now where I've put them in this bigger tank with the rest of the adults. And then I've still got my spawning mop in here as well. So I bought some guppy grass not too long ago. I've just taken a big cluster of it out of this tank because it was growing so fast and so well. It was actually completely covered the tank. So I've been in here, cleaned it up a little bit. There's a little bit of muck going on around at the moment. But I just thought I'd show you that the baby rice fish growing out well. Actually really enjoying these fish. There's a couple of little rogue baby guppies in here as well, because I did have some guppies in this tank just before, and I moved them out about a week ago, but there must have been some babies hiding in the guppy grass, and then just a couple of bronze cories as well. These guys are really old. I've had these guys for about 7 years. They've moved 2 houses with me now. Used to be 3. The first cories I ever bought 7 years ago, so pretty cool that they're still going. And yeah, that's just what's going on in this tank. Some really cool rice fish. Again, really enjoying these rice fish. They got some nice color on them once you get them home in your own tank. Get some good food in them. You've got the platinum rice fish, you've got the black rice fish. There's a few other different species of rice fish as well. I've only got these ones, the orange rice fish. So fresh, sort of new into rice fish. Have never kept these before, but have had them for about 2 or 3 months now and been really enjoying them. And obviously making some babies for me as well. So I've got some smaller baby rice fish in another fish tank. I'll show you guys them a bit later, but I just thought I'd show you my tank of rice fish. Yeah, I'll move over to this tank. Sorry, it doesn't have like a background on it, so it's just sort of a bit harder to see. You can see these really small little fish in here. These are another spawn of some baby rice fish. I didn't get as big of a hatch out of these. I only think I got about like 10 or 15 in here. But they're growing up well. They're only about like 2 or 3 weeks old at this point. They've just started to take baby brine shrimp. And I realized that you've sort of got to leave the mop in this tank. Well, the way I do it, is I take the spawning mop, that black mop, out of that tank, and I'll dump it into this tank, and then I'll leave it for about 10 days. So the first time I did it, I only left it in there for about 5 or 6 days, and I think I pulled it too early, the mop back out, and I think I missed a lot of hatching going on. So this time around, I don't think I left the mop in for a long enough time this time around. So hopefully the next time around, it'll be filled with eggs, and then I'll dump it into another tank by itself, and within about 10 days time, we should have a lot more baby rice fish. So this is just a small batch growing up now, but as you can see, they're quite small when they first hatch. They're even smaller than this when they first hatch. These are about, like I said, like 2 or 3 weeks old already. So very small little fish, good for like raising up in green water, or if you've got some like powdered fry food, they'll take that on their first few days of hatching. And then as soon as they get big enough, if you can get them onto live baby brine shrimp or some other like live micro food, they'll really do well on that by the looks of it as well. So again, not an expert on these fish. I've only raised up like 2 rounds of them so far, and I've only been keeping them for a couple of months, so pretty like new. But from what I've learned so far, reasonably easy fish to take care of, and as long as you've got some like small live micro food and some like powdered fry food going, or some green water, they should be reasonably easy for people to grow out. Alright, since we're showing off some small baby fish, this is actually my first successful spawn, in my opinion, of baby Bosmani rainbows. So usually I've done Bosmani rainbow fish a couple of times now in the past, and I've only been able to get about 6 or 7 babies out of each spawn. So not a huge number, not enough to sort of sell. This time round, did a little bit differently, kept the mop in for a little bit longer, and made sure there was no corridoras in with the brood stock of the adult rainbows. And this time around, looks like we've got a decent amount in here. You can see they're still a bit small. They've just started taking some live baby brine, but there's about 25, 30 in here. So that's a good enough spawn like to take into my local fish shop once these grow out. And we'll see how long it takes for these to grow out, because rainbow fish unfortunately take so long to grow up. You're looking probably about 6 months before these are ready to go into the shop. Maybe 4, maybe 5. Depends how much food I can get into them. But really excited to see my first big sort of spawn of Bosman rainbow fish. So moving over to this tank, these beautiful pair of angels are some of my F1s. And these are the ones that spawned for me last time and made all the angelfish about a year ago. They spawned about a month, 2 months ago now. Well, about a month ago, realistically. And, sorry, the camera gets the focus. And I'll show you their babies, but they're looking like they're going to spawn again, like, within the next few days. She looks like she's starting to fatten up here. And he's looking nice and good. We've got some nice longfin albino bristlenose. These guys have spawned for me too in the last month. I realize I haven't made a video for like over a month, so there's a bit been going on. But I got a decent spawn of about 15 to 20 babies out of these guys. I'll show you them in a second as well. But yeah, this tank's just chilling away. Not too much new stuff going on in here, just a lot of babies pumping out, and hopefully even more in the not too far future. So hopefully these guys will make some more babies for me. These are my last 2 brood stocks of Goyder River rainbows. They look so sad. I've had them now for almost 3 years, so their breeding is just about done. I haven't tried to breed these guys anymore. The male doesn't get as much color in through him anymore, and this is the last female. So luckily I've still got some of my own sort of brood stock down in another tank. So if I want to breed Goyder River rainbows again, I can use my my F1s that I've kept. So I'll use them in the future. But these guys for now, they was chilling here. These guys eventually will be retired as well, these 2 angels. I'm really chasing the koi gene out of these 2. So these, if you've been watching my videos for a while, are babies from Elmo, which is a red koi. And he was mixed with like a black marble angel, female. And so the coloring on these 2 aren't exactly red koi. They've got a little bit of orange on them, but you can see their top fin there is still that marbled sort of fin, where the koi fins are nice and like translucent and sort of clear. So some of their babies have been koi, and I've kept the koi looking angels, and hopefully we can get another few koi out of the next spawn. So we'll move on to the next tank, but just thought I'd show you another cool little longfin albino bristlenose over the back there. And then we'll move over here, tank next door. I'm trying something. I've put like a small power head internal filter in here into these tanks, just because there's been a lot of mess going on with the L397, sorry. And so I've been trying to get that off the ground and get it moving a bit more. But I'm still trialing it, because I'm not sure if it might be too much current that the angels don't want to breed for me in the strong current. But we haven't done enough testing to say if that's the case or not yet. We'll just can keep conditioning these 2 up. These are the 2 angels I've really been wanting to breed, and they just haven't spawned yet. She's full, like she's you can see here her belly's nice and full, but they've been picking at the slate. I've been doing water changes, feeding them some frozen bloodworms, trying to trigger them to spawn. Got the temperature up a little bit to try and help that as well. But no success yet. Got all the other angelfish spawning, but these 2 just not so much. And then yeah, down below we've got our lovely L397s. Been trying to really get these guys to spawn as well. I say that every video. These guys are one of my favorite fish in the fish room, and I just would love to be able to get even just 1 spawn out of these guys. Would be absolutely amazing one day to walk into and find. But another big thing about this tank is, you guys may have noticed I've got no substrate in the tanks anymore, and there's a reason for that. We took all the substrate out because it was getting too hard to maintain, and I realized I can't really be a fish breeder as well as a nice aquascaper as well, so you kind of had to pick the 2. And I don't have an auto water change system in this fish room, so I do every water change by hand, manually. and it was just getting way too much maintenance wise to be able to like keep gravel in here, plus these dirty plecos, as well as keeping the water quality up as well. So we made that move. We've taken all the substrate out of the tank, but unfortunately, because I thought I was going to put, well, I knew I was going to put substrate in these tanks, I didn't do anything about the bottom, so I haven't painted the bottom black, and as you can see, the reflection is quite harsh. So plan is, this one is painted black over here. You can tell the difference between this one and this one. Actually, the real difference is the next one over. This one I painted like a lot darker black, and you can see there's a little bit of gunk on the ground from these peppermint bristlenose. But this one compared to this one, massive difference. It stops the reflection a lot more bouncing back up onto the fish. So I'm losing a lot of the nice orange color out of these L397s because the glare is coming back up. So I'll move over to the next tank. We've got these beautiful black angels. This is the male just here that you're seeing. These guys, I haven't had any spawning out of them. I've still got problems where he is just absolutely destroying this poor female. I am going to have to move him out, or move him out, to be honest. I don't really want to move her out of this tank, but he is just being so aggressive towards her, and I thought it was just a thing where it would pass and they'd lay some eggs and it would be all over, but he doesn't seem to give her a break, and he even attacks her when she's trying to go for food. So he's an angry little thing. But we're going to move him out, get her all healed up. You can see her top fin there. It's really not a nice sight. He's being quite brutal to us, so I think that's a time to separate and hopefully reintroduce in a few weeks' time. He's ready to breed. She is not. So that is the problem. He is all fired up and ready to go. We've been conditioning them. She's just not ready. I think it's because he's just attacking her too much. But he keeps going back to the slate, pecking it, and she just doesn't seem interested in breeding whatsoever. As you can see here, it's going to be right on camera. He's just really just a nasty little angel towards us. So we're going to move him out eventually as well. We're going to move him out pretty soon, actually, before he does much more damage. And then we just got peppermint bristlenose in here, hiding everywhere but the caves. So they're doing well. Haven't had another spawn out of them yet, but again, been trying to trigger them, just been conditioning them up. And hopefully soon we can get another spawn out of these peppermint bristlenose. Coming out of this tank, and I've got our beautiful gold dust geos growing up big. Look at the color on him. He just looks absolutely amazing. And we've got the other ones in here as well, just with some rogue angels that I just am keeping. Couldn't sell them and just couldn't bring myself to cull them, so I just kept them in here as just little display grow outs. And then down here, if I can see, we have a male bristlenose just sitting on a big cluster of eggs. I don't have a light to shine in there, but he is sitting on a decent spawn of eggs. You can see him sort of, if I try and zoom in here, you can see him sort of flapping about in there. But this is sort of just a big grow out tank. These guys, again, just holding off until my 6-foot tank is back up and running, which I've got a lot more time on my hands as of like now, essentially. So we are going to fix my big 6-foot tank. I'm going to try and make a video about that as well, just because I think it's going to be an experience for myself, and I think it's worth sharing on YouTube. So hopefully I don't make a fool of myself resealing a 6-foot tank, but I will bring you guys along for the journey, and then that way these guys can go into the big 6-foot tank, because I absolutely have fallen in love with geophagus, especially these ones like the gold dust geos. This big boy in front of me here, he's getting quite big. As you can see, that beautiful color on the side of him there. And these guys just go along picking up big mouthfuls of gravel, sifting it through their mouth and gills, hoping there's some food in there. So they keep your substrate nice and clean as well. They're getting a bit, he's getting a bit of a bully because of how big he's getting compared to the rest of them. So hopefully there's some females in there as well. I don't fully know how to sex them just yet. I'm pretty sure this guy's a male because of the big hump on his head. I've heard that's a good way to tell. But if you know how to sex gold dust geos, let me know in the comments. I'm always interested to hear from you guys down in the comments. And yeah, we'll move on to another tank, but just thought I'd show you every single tank in the fish room. So I think I showed you guys in the last video that I bought some platies, some high fin platies. I'll just get zoomed out a bit there. Sorry for the reflection. So yeah, I bought some high fin platies, and I bought 5 of them for a solid little price. It's a couple of months later, we now have a lot of high fin platies. I've been breeding these guys out like crazy. There's some more babies down here. We only had like 2 or 3, I think, the last time I did a video for you guys. Now, as you can see, I've got quite a tank full of them. I've been feeding these guys some live baby brine, and they've just been really smashing it out. I really still like this nice red male here. He's one of the originals that I bought, and you can see they've made some quite interesting colors. There's a couple of like goldy orange looking babies around here as well, like that one that's swimming away. It's a nice sort of like a orangey gold female. There's some more here as well if I can get my hand out of the way. So not a huge exciting thing if you don't like platies. I've never actually kept platies before, so this is the first time keeping platies, but I just thought breeding fish for profit, platies are always a good seller, and get the nice high fin platies. Just people really like the longer fins on fish, so just a little popular one here. And there's a big mama sitting here at the back. As you can see, she's got quite that high top dorsal fin on her, and the rest of them do too. You can see the babies in the back here are starting to get some nice high fins on them. So yeah, high fin platy tank going strong, and we'll move on to the next tank. Alrighty, we're going to come down to this tank. This is my brood stock of Bosman rainbow fish, and again, the bottom of the tank has had all its gravel taken out, and because the tank is not been painted black on the bottom, we've got that nasty reflection bouncing back up and kind of ruining the nice color of these beautiful Bosman rainbows. They should be looking a lot nicer than this. So the plan is I'm going to buy one more 3-foot tank, and basically when I buy that tank, I'm going to be painting it black, and I'm going to be setting it up up above over here. Sorry for the mess. So here is a bit of wasted space. So I'm actually going to be taking some of these tanks down and replacing this tank and this space here with a 3-foot tank, just as another grow out tank, because I need more grow out tanks. And when I do that, I'm not going to be putting any fish in it, but what I'm going to be doing is using it as like a rotational sort of tank. So eventually set that one up, get it cycled and everything, and then we'll take all the fish out of this tank, put them into that new tank, and then drain this tank out, paint it black, put it back in once it's dried, fill it back up with water, cycle it again. Hopefully it's not too long of a process where I can keep these sponge filters and everything in another tank, and it won't take too long to cycle the tank again. And then hopefully I'll keep my big canister filter here, or like fill it with water, and that'll keep it cycled as well. And then hopefully after that, we've got all the tanks painted black. It's going to take quite a process, but that should make the tanks look a lot nicer. So it's mainly for YouTube, like for filming purposes. Like, it's not a big issue in my opinion if I wasn't filming this fish room, but because I'm filming this fish room, I want that reflection down as little as possible. So it makes, you know, the quality of the videos look a bit better. But that's the plan for all these tanks now. Over the next however long it's going to take me, I plan to take them down one by one, paint them black, and put them back in, and that way it should make the tanks look a lot nicer, much nicer I should say. But anyway, enough rambling on about the tanks. We've got our super red bristlenose down here, and these guys have been absolutely pumping babies out lately. I've been really impressed. This is going to be, he's sitting on eggs right now. I've got some B-roll footage, I'll put it up on the screen so you can see. But he's sitting on another clutch of eggs. This male in particular that's in this cave, he has been an impressive carer of eggs almost once a week. So there's a few females in here. There's actually too many males. There's one just here. There's another one here. A lot of people, if you don't know, bristlenose, the easiest way to tell male and female is the males get these big spiky bristles on the front of their face, and the females do not. Sometimes it can take a little bit longer. Sorry about my, I've got a little bit of a blocked up nose. But sometimes it can take a little bit longer to sex until they grow out. It's because the males don't get the bristles on their face when they're like really small. So if you see them in a fish shop and you can't see, you're always better off just buying a group of them and then growing them out. And if you buy a group of them, there's a pretty good chance you're going to get males and females. And then it's just a waiting game until they grow out and get a of mature size, and then hopefully they should start breeding for you. But I've had some pretty good success with the super red bristlenose, pretty big spawns and consistent spawns. So these guys are actually breeding more consistently for me than my normal bristlenose, and they're definitely the best bristlenose I've got in my fish room at the moment, breeding wise. So we'll move on to another tank, but this is just a nice little tank at the moment. This tank is producing a heap of babies. So we've got the Bosmanis, as you saw before, pumping out eggs into this spawning mop. I've only recently put this mop back in, and I might do a video for you guys if people want to learn how to make spawning mops. There's plenty of videos on YouTube already how to make spawning mops, but I thought I'd give it a little go as well. So comment down below if you wouldn't mind seeing a video on how to make some spawning mops for your rainbow fish or other egg scattering fish. But yeah, we'll move on to the next tank. Okay, so over in this tank we have some beautiful bulbitis fern growing out well, but we've also got our absolute lovely L015 Plecos. These guys have been doing really well. Haven't had any spawning out of them yet, but they've just been growing out. They're actually a pretty chunky, solid sized Pleco. They prefer their caves, obviously, but when they're out and about on some food, they are actually a really solid size, probably like around like that 4 or 5 inches mark. So yeah, pretty big Pleco, but I really like the pattern on them. They've been sort of looking like they've been wanting to spawn, and they've been pretty aggressive with each other. Like the other day, I don't have any footage of it, but yeah, this one here got a little bit scratched up on the cave, so I'm just making sure, I'm pretty sure it's a female here, didn't get too beaten up. It looks okay. I'm pretty sure the way to sex these is the male. I'm not 100% correct on this, so if someone knows, let me know in the comments. But I'm pretty sure the male has a lot more of these like spikes on the end of its tail, as you can see there, and the female not so much. So I think that's how you sex them. But if someone knows, let me know down in the comments. And we've got some of our Sturbe cories down here as well. So this is my brood stock of Sturbes. I've just been conditioning these guys up with some live blackworms and some frozen bloodworms, as well as just your standard other foods and dry foods. But I am going to move these guys out of this tank and put them into a tank of their own, because I do want to start breeding some Sturbe cories again. They were actually a fun cory to breed, and usually pretty popular in your local fish shop as well. So a lot of people like the Sturbe cories. As you can see, they're quite a nice looking cory with that nice pattern on them. They've got the nice side orange fins. Just an overall decent sized cory as well. So they get a little bit bigger than your like panda cories and stuff. They get a lot more chunkier, and yeah, just a really nice fish. So want to breed a few more of them. And then up here somewhere we've got our Goiter River rainbows. We've got a male here, got his colors turned on. I can get the camera to focus. So that's a juvenile Goiter River rainbow. Got a little bit of color turned on him at the moment, not fully turned on, but he's not fully colored up, and he's not fully grown out yet either. So there's a female up here. So we're just gonna keep growing them out and just hold them for if one day I want to decide to breed the Goiter Rivers again, I've got them to start breeding with. So that's pretty much it for this tank. We've got the Sturbe cories, the L015 Plecos, and the small brood stock of Goiter River rainbows. All right, over in this tank, we have our baby angelfish growing out well, and we put a small spawn of longfin albino bristlenose babies in here not too long ago, literally only about like 3-4 days ago, and this tank was completely brown with algae, and I deliberately left it like that because I knew that I was going to put a small spawn of bristlenose in here, and sure enough, within a few days they have pretty much got it completely cleaned up. There's a little bit of gunk left down the bottom, but they will have that basically spotless. So little tip, if you want your tanks looking nice, have like a small bristlenose in there and just cycle them out, and they'll take care of that algae for you. But as you can see, we've got a decent spawn of baby angelfish here. These guys are about 3 weeks old now, and just starting to get that angelfish size on them, angelfish shape on them. So there's a few of them that are still a bit smaller, like this one here. I'll try and get the camera to focus. Not quite got the angelfish body starting to form on them yet, but then you've got a few others that have started to get their real angelfish body on them. So hopefully these grow out nice and strong, and we'll move them out once they get a little bit bigger into a bigger grow out tank, and then hopefully we'll start selling a few of them. But I think they're going to be mostly marbled angelfish. Just instead of having like a yellow on them, they're going to have a little bit more of like a orangey sort of color to them rather than that standard yellow. So they have been sort of cross mixed with a red koi angel. So they're a marble angel crossed with a red koi. And I'm trying to try and hopefully get as many koi angels out of this as possible and keep them as future breeders, because I really want to keep Elmo's legacy going. So a lot of you that have joined recently to my channel, Elmo used to be my mascot angelfish. He was a solid red koi angel, also known as a red devil angelfish over here in Australia. I only had him. I didn't ever get a female. I bought 2 of them a few years ago. They were quite expensive angelfish back in the day. And the female, well, as much as I know it was a female, she passed within like a week of me owning them. And I only had the one, couldn't get any more. So Elmo grew up. I'll put him on the screen now. And he grew up to be an absolute stunning angelfish, and really became the mascot of this YouTube channel and my fish rooms. So unfortunately he passed about a year ago due to some crazy accident. So I've tried to keep his legacy going, because he created a few angelfish with a black angelfish, which was actually like a marbled angelfish. And they created the angelfish that you saw just before in the other tank. And those angelfish that you saw before created all these. So a bit of a generation going on. And hopefully a lot of these guys will turn out to be koi, but you can sort of already tell that a lot of them are going to be marbled just from that top fin. The marbled angelfish seem to have like those dots all over their sort of dorsal fin, and that's for me been a good way to tell if they're going to be koi or not. But I'll move over to the next tank and I'll show you another few angelfish. Okay, so moving over right next door, this is Elmo Jr. So Elmo Jr., classic name, I know. He was a spawn from the other angelfish that you saw before, the broodstock angels. And he, as you can see, is quite a nice koi angel, or a red koi angel. So he's got those nice clear fins along the top and his tail there. And then this female here, she doesn't have as much red on her or orange, but she still looks like a koi because she still has the nice like clear fins. And these two have paired off and they've laid some eggs on the slate once before. I'm trying to get them to lay eggs again on the slate, because I really want to start keeping the eggs from these two, because I feel like these two are going to pass those red koi genes on a lot stronger, being that these two actually are koi angels. And a little bit down the below, we have a few longfin panda cories. Now, I used to have 6 of these and we lost 3 of them. A little bit disappointing, because now I've only got 3 left, and I just don't know what I did wrong with the other 3. These 3 have been fine ever since. I put them through quarantine, I dewormed them, all that stuff. But yeah, lost 3 of them, not all at once, over the course of maybe about 2 or 3 months. But now I'm just left with 3. So I think I've got 1 male and 2 females, which actually is pretty good ratio for breeding. But the fact that there's only 3 of them, I wish I could get some more, but I haven't seen longfin pandas for quite some time. So one day when I see them in a shop again, I'll probably try and get like 3 or 6 more, because I really want to start breeding longfin panda cories, because they are a really cute little coridora. They don't get very big. They stay a lot smaller than, say, your sturbe cory, for example. And I think the longfin variety on them just makes them look that little bit cuter. So that's pretty much what's going on in this tank. We're just conditioning these 2 angels to spawn again. And with any luck, that'll happen within the next week or so. And hopefully we'll get a stronger batch of red koi angelfish out, because I'd really like to continue breeding the red koi angels. I think they look a lot nicer than your marbled angels, but that's just my opinion. So we'll move on to another tank. Okay, so I'm gonna move to this tank, because as I was filming, I just noticed something going on in this tank. And I thought I noticed something just before going on, but I didn't look, I was too busy filming. Now, something's happened with the male. I think the female's been a bit like aggressive or something, because he's lost all his color and is breathing quite rapidly. But the female looks good. She looks quite nice. But more importantly, look what I just saw just there. On the rocks right now, that is a fresh batch of German blue ram eggs. So she is obviously quite proud and protective. You can see her almost wanting to attack the camera through the glass as we speak. But I think I'm going to pull that batch of eggs because that is the first spawn from these two. Well, it's actually the second spawn. The first spawn was a couple of weeks ago, about a month ago actually, and it was pretty miserable spawn. So that's actually the first successful spawn from this pair. I don't know what's going on with the male. He's just a bit worn out, I think. But she is definitely on guard already. And I think, honestly, I'm going to take this spawn out and have a go at trying to hatch this myself, because I'd really like to have a nice little spawn of baby German blue rams, and this very well could be it. So I thought I'd show you guys this tank because I literally only just saw this, so it's not a setup or anything like that. That's literally, I've just noticed that there's eggs on that rock right now, so I thought I'd show that off quickly. But yeah, I'm gonna probably pull this rock out, put it in a bowl or a dish, and probably maybe keep it like in the fish room, and hopefully just put a few bubbles into the bowl, and we'll hatch this out over the next few days, and hopefully I can give you guys an update whether I was successful or not with hatching rams out. Alright, so moving down to one of these big tanks down the bottom of my rack. Again, I thought I'd show you guys these. These are some fish ready to go into my big 6-foot tank. I'm just holding them here in weight so that I can fix my tank. Again, I've been saying I'm going to fix it for so long, I know, but I will give you guys an update when I'm actually fixing that, and hopefully make a video about it. But these are some filament barbs getting quite large, and we've got a couple of crimson spot rainbows, just rogue ones I didn't really know what to do with, so they're just in here as well. And then we've got a nice little broodstock of Congo tetras. Not sure if I should spawn these guys or not, or look at trying to get them to spawn. I kind of just like them as a nice display fish. Most people don't buy Congo tetras these days in like fish shops, because usually when they're in fish shops they're still small and they have no color in them at all, and everyone just wants the males instead of the females. But a lot of people don't know you need some females to make the males really turn on their color. So as you can see here, these males are sort of swimming around these couple of females, just sort of getting all hyped up. They've got their colors nice and turned on. I really love the fins on Congo tetras, but yeah, Congo tetras, don't think I'll ever sort of spawn them for profit. They're not really the best profitable fish, so to speak. Probably cool to spawn, but I think you'll struggle if you spawn too many. You'd probably struggle to sell them all to your local fish shop. They're not a fast moving fish unless the people that buy them know what they're going to turn into. And other than that, yeah, they're going to sit in the shop for a little bit. So these filament barbs, same sort of thing. When you buy them in the fish shops, they kind of look boring and dull. When they get a little bit bigger than this, their top fin, especially in the males, starts to sort of split and have like some extra parts coming off the fin. Looks really cool. But gonna wait. Once they get in the 6-foot tank, they're gonna get a lot bigger, and they will look a lot more impressive than they do now. So down in the log, our little showcase is our black ghost knife. If you can come out, I'll show you guys how sort of large he has gotten. He is pretty much bigger than this log right now, and he has been such an enjoyable and fun fish to watch grow out. I bought him when he was maybe, I don't know, like 5, 6, 7 centimeters long, like 2.5, almost 3 years ago now, and he has just been growing out so enjoyable to watch. He's fin along the bottom, how it moves like that skirt along there, you can see. I'm trying to get him to come out of his cave, but they don't really like the bright light, so they try and like to stay in the cave. And a little trick, if you want to see him more often, you can actually buy yourself like a clear tube and put in the fish tank, and he'll use his electrical current to navigate his way into that tube. And for him, because he can't really see that well, he's almost blind, he'll think he's safe and no one can see him in that tube, but you can see him perfectly fine because it's a clear tube. So just a little cool tip, if you've got a black ghost knife that you never see out and about, you can actually put like a clear piece of tubing in there. As long as it's big enough for the black ghost knife to fit into, you'll be able to see them in there without the way of the rocks. So kind of cool looking fish. Alrighty, so I pulled the rock out of the German blue rams tank. You can see there's a decent little batch of eggs there. I've put them up into this container, used the same water from the tank below, so this is where the rams are here. I've used the water from their tank put it on the outside. Now my fish room itself keeps its temperature, so I don't really have to worry about putting a heater in here, because the fish room is about 28 degrees. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but in Celsius it's about 28 degrees, and the tank's at about 29-30 degrees in the tank water, so not a huge difference in temperature there. So these guys, I'm hoping, should be fine. And we've just put them in this small breeder box that's not actually running. I've just got a bit of air going in here with some bubbles just for some circulation. And then I've just added just like a couple of drops of some methylene blue. And that's just gonna help any, stop any fungus from growing on these eggs. So if a egg goes white with fungus, it's unlikely for it to spread to the other eggs with the methylene blue in there. So these should take about 5 to 6 days to start hatching, and then we'll start water changing the methylene blue out of the water as soon as these become wrigglers, and hopefully from there we'll transition these to my fry tray system, and then they'll grow up, and from there on in we will hopefully get them onto baby brine shrimp and have a solid little batch of baby German blue rams. So I just thought I'd give you a quick little update that I stopped filming, quickly set this up, pulled the eggs. The female was not happy with me at all. She actually packs quite a punch. She went for my fingers a few times, and yeah, as you can tell, she was not impressed at all. Male's doing all right now. I left him for another like 20 minutes after I first spotted these eggs. Did the other filming as well, and then came back and grabbed the eggs. I just wanted to make sure the eggs were actually going to be fertilized. Sometimes if you pull the eggs too early, the male hasn't actually done his job yet and fertilized those eggs, and the entire batch will go white on you. So I've had that happen in the past, where I wasn't patient enough to let them finish spawning, and pulled a batch of angelfish eggs too early, and the whole slate went white. And I'm pretty sure it was because the male had not finished his job yet. So quick little update. Hopefully in the next few weeks we will have an update on German blue ram babies. Okay, another really, really small baby fish update. These tiny little fish, you can see, it's really hard to get the camera to focus because they are so small. There's more up the back, there's some down the front here. I've got the camera right over the top of the tank because it's easier to see from the top down. These are baby turquoise rainbows. They are only a couple of days old. They are on some powder, and I've just got them on some baby brine shrimp. They're very hard to see. They're so small. You can see one there. There's two there swimming around so far. There's three. So this mop's only been in this green water tank for about 2-3 days now, and there's going to be a lot more hatching out hopefully than this. But yeah, this thought I'd give you guys a quick update as well, that I've got baby turquoise rainbows. These are beautiful rainbow fish in my opinion. Get that nice turquoise blue all the way through them. But we'll watch these guys grow out, and hopefully a lot more hatch out of this mop in the next few days, and we'll have another solid batch of turquoise rainbows to sell to my local fish shop in the near future as well. Alright, excuse the mess. These are not the cleanest fry trays. They are not nice, pristine white trays like Dean's are from Aquarium Co-op. Shout out to Dean. Thank you again for this amazing creation that you have shared with us on the internet. It has helped me and my fish room so much, this fry tray system. I'm not going to share how it's made. I'd rather people go and learn from the guy who created it himself, and you can go find out that from the Aquarium Co-op channel, Dean's fry tray system. But this is my little version of it. Don't have it fully running. There's a few more here, and it's a little bit different to how other people have made theirs, but it works for me. And as you can see here, I'll try and move that out of the way. I've got a pretty big spawn here of, these are super red bristlenose down in this little tray, and next door in the messy one, I actually kind of like leaving the algae build up on the trays rather than trying to scrub it clean like this one is, this new one here. Mainly because when I put small little bristlenose in here, they actually do the job for me. And this one here on this side, this one here was actually looking like this about 3 weeks ago. I put a batch of super red bristlenose in here, and now it went from that to that in literally 3 weeks. Not to mention that's all food for these guys to help growing out as well. So you can see up the back there is probably a good 25-30 super red bristlenose babies in that tray there. And then over here, yesterday, I'll try and get the camera to go in there a bit. You can see we've got some baby bit of flickering. We've got some baby normal bristlenose in here, and these guys are just going to eat all this algae up, and then I'll clean up the hair algae and stuff like that, because they don't really eat the hair algae that well. But that normal brown algae, that'll be gone once these guys get a bit bigger and start going. That'll be gone within a couple of weeks. So not the nicest for filming, but they do their job, and they're growing out to a lot of the bristlenose babies quite well. So I'll probably hopefully try and put the rams in here, but I've got another batch of super reds babies that they're sitting on eggs right now, so I'm going to have to make another fry tray so that I can put that batch in, and then I need to try and make some room in a bigger tank, because these guys are well and truly ready to come out of this tray, because we've got a spawn of longfin albino bristlenose eggs ready to hatch in the next few days as well, so they're going to need to come in here. And then we've got another smaller spawn. I'll see if I can move. Yeah, there you go, all underneath the stick there, if you can see. Another small spawn of super reds as well. So I don't think this spawn is as big. I think there's about 15 or 20 in this one. There's about 30 normal bristlenose in here. There's about 25 or 30 super reds in this tray. And then we've got nothing in this tray yet, but again, probably for some angelfish babies, some German blue ram babies, or another spawn of super reds. So that is my fry tray system up and running. And yeah, need to make a few more trays, because we're really starting to pump out some baby fish now. So quick update, if you're local to Brisbane, these are my red tuxedo guppies. I really enjoy this strain of guppy. They're not everyone's cup of tea, but I just really enjoy the red head on them. These are all getting ready to be taken into my local fish shop. Don't hate on me too much, they're all going to be males, unfortunately, and the sole reason for that is because I actually almost lost my broodstock of these guppies entirely, and when the broodstock created these babies, they all, after that, sort of started dropping off. And I had them out in ponds last year a bit too long in the winter, and they never really came back very well from the cold. I just left them in the cold way too long, and brought them back in the fish room because I noticed something was wrong, realized it was the cold, tried to get them back. They started breeding again for me after some conditioning, and then unfortunately I think the stress of giving birth to so many babies sort of, I don't know, just made them pass. But I kept pretty much all the females and just a couple of males for myself, and that will keep my broodstock going, and they're already pumping out babies for me. So unfortunately this first batch of red tuxedo guppies I give to my local fish shop, they're going to be pretty much all male, but I'm planning to pump out the red tuxedo guppies like crazy, because they're guppies and they're really good profitable fish to sell, and they're nice looking fish as well. So if you're local, I will be pumping out males and females of the red tuxedo guppies very soon. We've just got to make sure we protect our broodstock so that we don't accidentally lose this strain altogether. So just a quick little update on the red tuxedo guppies. So never fear if you're into guppies, because this is my broodstock of the red tuxedo guppies. So I've got a few males here, but most of them are females. And I don't know if you can see, we are really pumping out some babies out of here at the moment. So I plan on just going crazy with these guppies and just breeding as many as I possibly can. And got heaps of guppy grass in there, which is just protecting the fry from being eaten from the bigger adults. And as you can see, there's just so many babies in here at the moment. I've been going crazy on the live baby brine shrimp. They haven't had a feed just yet, but I will be feeding them later on. And these females are all plump, ready to go. So I think I've got like 3 or 4 males in here, and then there's like 7 or 8 females. So it's not too bad of a ratio. A little bit heavy on the males, but it's if you want more babies, just cull down on the amount of males you have, and the males sort of are the ones that eat the babies more than the females do. And then make sure you get plenty of food in for the adults as well. That'll stop them going on the hunt for the babies. And yeah, guppies, nice easy fish, simple, but yep, cool, and starting to breed them like crazy. So quick little update on these guys, but yeah, another cool fish that I'll be mass producing in the near future. So in this tank we have nothing but a spawn of just your standard bristlenose. And the reason I'm doing that is I'm feeding them really heavy to try and grow them as fast as I can, just because these guys sell like crazy. I can never get enough of them into my local fish shop before they're sold out. And as you can see, they've been making a mess, but we've been feeding very heavily, and it's actually been doing so well that my moss is actually starting to grow really, really well as well. So I'm not sure if that's the extra food in there and the water changes going on, but the moss has really quite noticeably been taking off. You can see all the new growth on it there. And then yeah, we just got our about 20-25 bristlenose growing up nice in this tank. So not too much to show off in this tank, just more baby fish growing up and some nice healthy looking Java moss. All right, so we drop down to this tank, and as you can see, we've got a bit of a failed spawn of some longfin albino cories. Something unfortunately in this tank has been nipping their tails, so you're going to have to pull them out. They've just been slowly growing up, so I've got a few of them growing up in here. And then we've got all our rainbow fish that I never made enough of in one batch to sell. So I've got about, I think, 10 or 12 Bosmani rainbows in here, and then I've got about 3 crimson spot rainbows as well. So I just sort of mucked around one day with the crimson spot rainbows and made about 3 of them. So that's these nice green guys here. They don't have their color fully turned on at the moment. As they get older, these guys actually turn into a really, really nice looking rainbow. Pretty sure they're native to Australia. You can find them in now creeks along the eastern coast of Australia. So they get a nice black outline on their fins. This one's sort of starting to get it here. And then they get a few red dots along the back of their body, but a real nice looking rainbow. And then yeah, you've got the nice Bosmani runs here. So I'll use these guys as my future breeders, these Bosmani rainbows, because these are my F1s. And then I've just thrown a fair bit of food in there to try and fatten these cories up, just because the rainbow fish sort of outcompete all the other fish in this tank for food. So yeah, we've got some angelfish in the back here as well. These are some spawns from the last batch of angelfish I took to the store. I kept the koi looking ones. The one at the very back there is a male. He's got the really nice red koi gene coming through in him, as you can see. We've got this female at the front here, I believe. She doesn't have as much of the koi gene going, just on the top of the head. And we've got another, I believe this one over here is female as well. They all seem to be hiding a little bit. They're a little bit skittish on camera. So I've got that one at the back there behind it as well. And then we've got, yeah, just our cories and Bosmani rainbow fish growing up nicely. So this tank eventually is going to be probably like another big grow out tank. At the moment, I'm just sort of holding some fish in here until I decide what I want to do with them and which ones I'm going to select to, be my future breeders. And other than that, guys, that's pretty much all my tanks in the fish room. Again, apologies that I haven't made a video in a while, but hopefully this long one gets you sitting down and had a good watch. And I thought I'd show off all the fish tanks in my fish room, because there's a little bit going on in the last couple of months. So with that, guys, if you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. And if you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. And with that, I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.